Do you hear that? It's not just a clock, it's the sound of time running out. A percussive drumbeat reminding you that you are slow, that you are failing. You know the feeling. It starts as a small knot in your stomach, a looming project, a paper due, a promise you regret making. It's a whisper at first, but it grows. That knot becomes a stone. That anxiety becomes dread. It eats into your sleep. It sours your coffee. And it has a name. A single powerful word capable of holding our entire modern lives hostage. We call it a deadline. Welcome to the Word Mortuary. I am your host, the Mortician. Language is a graveyard, a vast, ancient plot of land where every word we use today is built on the bones of a forgotten meaning. Words, like people, have lives, they have families, and they have deaths. But we are not here to read eulogies. We are here to conduct the post-mortem, to dissect, to open the body and find out what it truly died of, or, in some cases, who it killed. And today, our subject on the slab is one of the most notorious killers of all. Deadline. It's harmless until you learn that it isn't. Until you learn that its original meaning had nothing to do with time at all. What if I told you that to miss your deadline originally meant you would be shot on sight? No. To find the true roots of deadline, we must dig deeper, past the soil of the 20th century and into the bloody, compacted mud of the American Civil War. We must go to a place that historians have called Hell on Earth, a place named Andersonville. Andersonville was a Confederate prisoner of war camp. It was designed to hold 10,000 Union soldiers, but by the summer of 1864, it was cramming over 32,000 men into that same space. There was no shelter. There was not enough food. There was no sanitation. There was only disease, starvation, and despair. The death rate was catastrophic. The prison's commander, Captain Henry Wers, had a problem: how to control 32,000 desperate men with a small guard force. His solution was simple, and it was brutal. He ordered a light secondary fence to be built. It was a simple waist-high wooden rail that ran parallel to the main wall, but 19 feet, about 6 meters inside it. It created a bare, exposed, no man's land within the prison itself. The guards stood on the stockade wall, looking down, and the rule, announced to every prisoner, was clear. The prisoners called that flimsy rail the deadline. The rule was absolute. Any prisoner who crossed that line, for any reason, was shot. No warning, no trial. The guards were even reportedly given furloughs for a clean kill. It was, quite literally, a line that would make you dead. And here is the most sadistic part. The only source of water in the camp, a small putrid creek, it flowed through that forbidden zone. Thousands of men died of thirst and disease just a few feet away from water. They were forced to choose every single day, die of dehydration or die of a bullet, all because of an arbitrary line drawn in the dirt. That was the true meaning of a deadline. So, how? How did the term for military brutality become a harmless word for turning in your homework? How did a physical line of death become a temporal, limit of time. The word lay dormant for decades. Like a pathogen, it waited. Until the 1920s, when another war was raging. The war for information. The age of the newspaper. A world just as cutthroat, just as competitive, where every minute mattered. Printers of the day used a literal line on the press bed. It was a physical limit on the machine that no lead type could be set beyond, or it wouldn't make it into that day's edition. They called that line the deadline. If your story wasn't ready, set, and in its place before that deadline, your story was dead. It would not exist for that day's cycle. The original urgency, the sense of absolute finality, that do or die feeling, it was a perfect, morbid resurrection of the old word. And so the word evolved, but its ghost never truly left. The next time you feel your heart pounding as a deadline approaches, the next time you feel that knot of anxiety in your stomach, that feeling of being trapped with no escape, ask yourself, is that the anxiety of an office worker? Or is that the anxiety of a prisoner? That is the faint linguistic echo of a desperate soldier in Georgia standing just inches away from being shot. Language is a graveyard, and every tombstone tells a story. Subscribe to the Word Mortuary. We have plenty of graves and plenty of secrets left to dig up. And you? What word is haunting you?